Caldwell, Idaho, home of the Canyon County Fair and the Caldwell Night Rodeo. But there's so much more to Caldwell than just saddles and spurs. Let's check it out. Before we get started, my name is Isaac Crace. I'm a third-generation realtor here in the Treasure Valley area. So if you are one of the many people thinking of making the move, reach out and I'd love to help you out. In this video, I'm going to cover every single aspect of Caldwell, from living, shopping, houses, what to do in Caldwell, what Caldwell is known for, and all of that. So if that is something that interests you, I highly suggest you stick around and watch the video. So what is Caldwell known for? In addition to the aforementioned Caldwell Night Rodeo and the Canyon County Fair, there are a lot more things going on in Caldwell. Some that have been around for decades, like the College of Idaho and the Terrace Drive-In, and some that are newer in the recent years and gaining immense popularity, like the Indian Creek Plaza and all the wineries in the Sunny Slope area of Caldwell. So what exactly is there to do in Caldwell? Well, I think the more accurate question would be, what isn't there to do in Caldwell? Whether it's hanging out in the revived downtown Caldwell or playing in the waters at Lake Lowell, there's a little bit of everything for everybody in Caldwell. Caldwell is super close to Lake Lowell. In fact, Lake Lowell is split between Caldwell and Nampa, and the lower dam being the Caldwell Dam, as it's commonly referred to. And there's a huge park there with huge giant cotton trees or poplar trees or cottonwoods, you know, whatever. And it's a huge sandy beach. People go hang out there all summer long and have barbecues. If you would like to see a video of that, about what all you can do, I did make a video on it, so I'll link it right here. And if you want to see it, by all means, go check it out. It's a great video. Downtown, where the Indian Creek comes through, you know, right where they have the same winter wonderland area, there's this event that goes on in the summer, and it's really cool. It's called the Cardboard Boat Race, and it's fun to go watch because people go there, and the rules are your boat has to be made out of cardboard and duct tape, and then people get in the boats and see who can make it the farthest down the creek and, you know, who can win the race. It's always fun to go watch because, you know, when people put their boats in the water, some of them sink right away. Some of them go pretty good. Some of them look cool. Some of them are like, ooh. So if you want to go have like side bets, no, not really. Maybe. Go check that out. It's a super fun event to watch. If you're looking for good food and drinks, you'll likely find yourself at the Indian Creek Steakhouse in downtown Caldwell. And just a heads up, after the rodeos, Canyon County fairs, and anything that goes on in Caldwell, that's where the after party is. So you'll probably find yourself there quite a few times. Caldwell is home to the Canyon County Fairgrounds. We have the O'Connor Field House, so we have the Caldwell Night Rodeo, the Canyon County Fair, so many different events that go on through the year. You know, College of Idaho Yotes, their football team plays their games there. I think their soccer team does as well. The 4-H and FFA kids showing their animals there. If you want to see a video about that, I do have one. I'll link it right here. But like I said, there's a ton of events that go on there. And right next to that is the O'Connor Fieldhouse. They have all sorts of different shows, like classic bike shows, my favorite, gun shows. I've been to a few there, and a ton of other different things. So you've always got to check it out, and that would be a huge pro of Caldwell. One of my all-time favorite things to do in Caldwell is go to the Terrace Drive-In. It is the last drive-in theater in the Boise area. At one point, there were about 11, but now we're down to this just one, unless you go all the way out to Parma. So it is a very popular thing to do. They open just about every weekend, but you can check them out on their website and see when their schedules are and what they're going to be playing. There's one thing in the Caldwell area, in the Sunny Slope area specifically, that is gaining massive popularity in the recent years, and that is vineyards. The area has volcanic soil, which is super fertile, and it makes a great environment for grapes to grow, which makes it an awesome place for wine. In fact, the area is becoming so well known, and our wines are starting to become so good that we're in fact starting to compete with Napa Valley. Now, vineyards around the area, like St. Chapelle, over the summers, they have wine tasting, live music, dancing, all sorts of stuff. So every single weekend in the summer, there's all sorts of things to do at the vineyards. Now, if you want to catch a super cool sight, I recommend that you go out in the evening, climb to the top of Lizard Butte, which looks over all of the Sunny Slope area in the wine country. And let me just tell you, there's nothing else like it in the world. You got the Snake River running down in the base of it. It's gorgeous. You just have to check it out for yourself. There's this common misconception and stigma about Caldwell that it's super unsafe and the crime is really high and the gangs are really bad. And although it may have been true to some extent at one point, it's really blown out of proportion by people who haven't even been to Caldwell. For instance, I was talking to somebody, and in the conversation it came up that I lived in Caldwell for a short period of time, and their response was kind of like, oh, Caldwell, you know, crime, that kind of stigma. And I was like, well, how have you actually ever even been to Caldwell? And they're like, well, no, I'd never been there, but that's what they say. And I was like, you should go check it out. Check out the downtown area, and I'm sure your perception will be changed. In fact, I did some research in looking at crime statistics in the area, and Caldwell doesn't even have the highest crime rate in the area. It's actually Garden City, which is essentially a sub-city of Boise, and nobody attributes Boise to crime, so it's kind of unfair that Caldwell gets the bad rap. As far as shopping goes in Caldwell, you've got your main box stores like Walmart, Bi-Mart, Grocery Outlet, and your supply stores like a D&B. But if you want to do some bigger shopping like maybe a Winco or a Costco or Burlington, something like that, you're going to have to go over to the Karcher area of Nampa or over to Meridian. So what's the housing situation looking like in Caldwell? At the time of making this video, there are 114 homes currently on the market. 63 of those are under construction, so the remaining are pre-existing homes. The median asking price in Caldwell is a whopping $509,000, but you can get into some new construction homes starting in the low 400s. As for types of homes you can get, there is a super wide variety since Caldwell is so spread out. You can find historic cottages and bungalows near the downtown to simple 20 to 30-year-old homes, all the way up to huge ranches and acreage homes on the river. As far as new construction goes, you can find custom builders as well as the main production builders like CBH and Helpfull Homes. However, at the time I'm making this video, as far as production builders go, CBH does have the majority of the homes on the market. If you drive down Cleveland Boulevard in the downtown area in between downtown Caldwell and the College of Idaho, you're going to notice quite a few older homes, and they're super cool. If you're familiar with the Boise North End, if you've seen some of our other videos, you're going to see that there are some really cool historic homes there, which would be really cool if you could go in and restore them. But that's where the problem can come in. Since they are in the historic district, they have to be updated to code. So a lot of those parts that you need, siding, whatever, windows, it can get pretty hard to find because, well, stuff probably isn't around that was around 100 years ago. For schooling in Caldwell, they have 2 high schools, Caldwell High School and Valley View High School, 2 middle schools, 6 elementary schools, the College of Idaho, along with other branches of TVCC and CWI. In preparation for this video, my team gathered some information from locals who live in Caldwell about what their pros and cons would be about living in Caldwell. So here are their pros and cons of living in Caldwell, starting with the number 1 con, which is traffic. Traffic is absolutely going to be a huge con in Caldwell for a multitude of reasons. 1, construction. With all the new people moving in and the conditions of roads, stuff needs to be widened, so that means that construction workers are going full speed ahead trying to upgrade roads, and the infrastructure, of course, that creates traffic. But in addition to that, the interchanges for I-84 into Caldwell is seriously lacking. You've got 2 interchanges at the north end of Caldwell. In between the Highway 2026 interchange and the Karcher interchange, there's no other ways on and off the freeway. So that really jams up the Highway 2026 interchange and the Karcher interchange because you have people having to go so far out of their way to get onto those, in addition to the people trying to come from Nampa to get onto the Karcher interchange. And that's where the greatest shopping is in the area. So that creates a huge issue there. So many of the people were actually saying, like, if an on and off ramp could come at the U-Stick area, it would seriously alleviate traffic issues. And I do have to say that looks like a great place for an interchange. They are actually working on it right now, but they're just putting a new bridge in. They're not making an interchange. The second con is going to be distance from Boise. Now, this one might not be as big of an issue for some of you who are used to really long commutes, but for other people, it can be a bit of a pain if you live in Caldwell and are working in Boise, where with the traffic, it can be as much as like 45 minutes drive in the morning. Now, I know, like I said, some of you are thinking 45 minutes. I wish my drive was 45 minutes. But for others, it is quite the commute that we aren't used to. And since Caldwell is so big, you could be all the way out almost by like Greenleaf in that area. So that, in addition, going all the way to Boise can get closer to probably like an hour almost. Since the Indian Creek Plaza and downtown area is being so revitalized, and they have the Winter Wonderland, and they have stuff going on all throughout the summer, parking in the downtown area is seriously lacking. There's no parking garages, so if it's busy, sometimes you can have to walk blocks, and it's a serious complaint for people. So I'm not sure what remedy there could be for that, possibly a parking garage, but there's not really a whole lot of space for parking garages. But I'm sure the City Hall would be open to public input on that if you have a better idea. Although there were so many pros that people were giving us, I had to narrow them down into the top 5 most consistent ones or the most occurring ones. So here they are. Number 1 is low crime. Like I specified earlier in the video, Caldwell actually has a super low crime rate. The vibrant downtown with the Indian Creek, the Winter Wonderland, the Plaza, the Indian Creek Steakhouse makes it a great place for people to hang out. The people who live in Caldwell are super friendly. And Caldwell is the home of all the wineries, so that is a huge plus for many people. And last but not least, the Rodeos and Fairgrounds. If you've made it this far, I must have done a great job. So do me a huge favor. Drop me a big old one of these, a thumbs up. Leave me a comment what you think about Caldwell or what you would like to see next in my future videos. If you haven't already, subscribe and get the bell on so that you get notified of all my future videos. While I still got you here, you might want to check out this video and this playlist. Until next week, I'm Isaac Crace with Top Idaho Real Estate, your 3rd generation Idaho Realtor.